Jaunty, jaunty, meaning cheerful, lively, and self-confident. Cheerful, lively, and self-confident. He walked into the room with a jaunty smile. He walked into the room with a jaunty smile. Imperceptible, imperceptible, meaning so slight, gradual, or subtle as not to be perceived. So slight, gradual, or subtle as not to be perceived. There was an imperceptible change in his tone. There was an imperceptible change in his tone. Frivolous, frivolous, meaning lacking seriousness or importance. Lacking seriousness or importance. They wasted money on frivolous purchases. They wasted money on frivolous purchases. Tacit, tacit, meaning understood without being spoken. Understood without being spoken. There was a tacit agreement between them. There was a tacit agreement between them. Calamitous, calamitous, meaning causing great damage or disaster. Causing great damage or disaster. The storm had calamitous effects on the village. The storm had calamitous effects on the village. Anomalous, anomalous, meaning deviating from what is normal. Deviating from what is normal. The scientist found an anomalous result in the experiment. The scientist found an anomalous result in the experiment. Dilatory, dilatory, meaning slow, tending to delay. Slow, tending to delay. The dilatory response angered the customers. The dilatory response angered the customers. Humdrum, humdrum, meaning lacking excitement, monotonous. Lacking excitement, monotonous. She was tired of her humdrum routine at work. She was tired of her humdrum routine at work. Irascible, irascible, meaning easily angered. Easily angered. The irascible old man shouted at the children. The irascible old man shouted at the children. Waggish, waggish, meaning playful, humorous. Playful, humorous. The comedian's waggish remarks entertained the crowd. The comedian's waggish remarks entertained the crowd. Recalcitrant, recalcitrant, meaning stubbornly uncooperative. Stubbornly uncooperative. The recalcitrant employee refused to follow rules. The recalcitrant employee refused to follow rules. Loquacious, loquacious, meaning very talkative, very talkative. The loquacious lawyer dominated the discussion. The loquacious lawyer dominated the discussion. Fleeting, fleeting, meaning lasting for a very short time. Lasting for a very short time. He enjoyed a fleeting moment of peace before chaos returned. He enjoyed a fleeting moment of peace before chaos returned. Chivalrous, chivalrous, meaning courteous and gallant, courteous and gallant. He was chivalrous in helping her with the heavy bags. He was chivalrous in helping her with the heavy bags. Magnanimous, magnanimous, meaning generous and forgiving, generous and forgiving. She was magnanimous in victory, praising her opponent. She was magnanimous in victory, praising her opponent. Opulent, opulent, meaning rich, luxurious, rich, luxurious. They dined in an opulent palace hall. They dined in an opulent palace hall. Vacuous, vacuous, meaning lacking intelligence or ideas, lacking intelligence or ideas. The celebrity gave a vacuous interview with no substance. The celebrity gave a vacuous interview with no substance. Egregious, egregious, meaning extremely bad, extremely bad. His egregious mistake cost the company millions. His egregious mistake cost the company millions. Idiosyncratic, idiosyncratic, meaning unique and peculiar, unique and peculiar. His idiosyncratic way of speaking made him memorable. His idiosyncratic way of speaking made him memorable. Obsequious, obsequious, meaning overly flattering, overly flattering. The assistant was obsequious towards his boss. The assistant was obsequious towards his boss. Querulous, querulous, meaning complaining in a whining or petulant way. Complaining in a whining or petulant way. The querulous customer was hard to please. The querulous customer was hard to please. Acrimonious, acrimonious, meaning angry and bitter in tone, angry and bitter in tone. The meeting ended in an acrimonious argument between the two directors. The meeting ended in an acrimonious argument between the two directors. Boundless, boundless, meaning unlimited, vast, unlimited, vast. She approached life with boundless energy. She approached life with boundless energy. Cantankerous, cantankerous, meaning bad-tempered and argumentative, bad-tempered and argumentative. The cantankerous neighbour complained about everything. The cantankerous neighbour complained about everything. Decrepit, decrepit, meaning old and falling apart, old and falling apart. They lived in a decrepit house on the edge of town. They lived in a decrepit house on the edge of town. Timorous, timorous, meaning fearful and shy, fearful and shy. The timorous boy hid behind his mother. The timorous boy hid behind his mother. Ambivalent, ambivalent, meaning having mixed feelings, having mixed feelings. She was ambivalent about moving abroad for work. She was ambivalent about moving abroad for work. Effervescent, effervescent, meaning lively, bubbly, full of energy. Lively, bubbly, full of energy. Her effervescent personality made her the life of the party. Her effervescent personality made her the life of the party. Floundering, floundering, meaning struggling helplessly, struggling helplessly. The floundering business was on the edge of collapse. The floundering business was on the edge of collapse. Impertinent, impertinent, meaning rude, not showing respect. Rude, not showing respect. The impertinent child interrupted the teacher. The impertinent child interrupted the teacher. Quenchless, quenchless, meaning impossible to satisfy or extinguish. Impossible to satisfy or extinguish. He had a quenchless thirst for knowledge. He had a quenchless thirst for knowledge. Sedentary, sedentary, meaning inactive, sitting a lot. Inactive, sitting a lot. Too much sedentary work is bad for health. Too much sedentary work is bad for health. Nonplussed, nonplussed, meaning extremely confused, unsure how to react. Extremely confused, unsure how to react. She was nonplussed by the strange question. She was nonplussed by the strange question. Kempt, kempt, meaning neatly, kept, tidy, opposite of unkempt. Neatly, kept, tidy, opposite of unkempt. He always appeared kempt and professional at work. He always appeared kempt and professional at work. Tempestuous, tempestuous, meaning stormy, full of strong emotions. Stormy, full of strong emotions. They had a tempestuous relationship, always full of arguments and drama. They had a tempestuous relationship, always full of arguments and drama. Incongruous, incongruous, meaning out of place, inconsistent. Out of place, inconsistent. His cheerful mood seemed incongruous with the sad occasion. His cheerful mood seemed incongruous with the sad occasion. Parsimonious, parsimonious, meaning very unwilling to spend money. Very unwilling to spend money. The parsimonious landlord refused to fix the roof. The parsimonious landlord refused to fix the roof. Hermetic, hermetic, meaning completely sealed, airtight. Completely sealed, airtight. The chemicals were stored in a hermetic container. The chemicals were stored in a hermetic container. Temerarious, temerarious, meaning recklessly bold. Recklessly bold. It was a temerarious idea to launch a new business with no plan at all. It was a temerarious idea to launch a new business with no plan at all. Giddy, giddy, meaning light-headed or silly with excitement. Light-headed or silly with excitement. She felt giddy after receiving the good news. She felt giddy after receiving the good news. Dexterous, dexterous, meaning skilled with hands or mind. Skilled with hands or mind. The dexterous musician played the violin flawlessly. The dexterous musician played the violin flawlessly. Uncanny, uncanny, meaning strange, mysterious. Strange, mysterious. He had an uncanny ability to predict events. He had an uncanny ability to predict events. Entrenched, entrenched, meaning firmly established. Firmly established. The entrenched traditions of the village were hard to change. The entrenched traditions of the village were hard to change. Contemptuous, contemptuous, meaning showing deep dislike. Showing deep dislike. He gave a contemptuous glance at his rival. He gave a contemptuous glance at his rival. Judicious, judicious, meaning showing sound judgment. Showing sound judgment. They made a judicious decision to save money. They made a judicious decision to save money. Laudable, laudable, meaning deserving praise. Deserving praise. Her efforts to help the poor were truly laudable. Her efforts to help the poor were truly laudable. Pellucid, pellucid, meaning translucently clear. Translucently clear. The lake was so pellucid that you could see the fish. The lake was so pellucid that you could see the fish. Xerothermic, xerothermic, meaning hot and dry. Hot and dry. They adapted to the region's xerothermic climate. They adapted to the region's xerothermic climate. Vexatious, vexatious, meaning annoying, causing frustration. Annoying, causing frustration. The constant delays proved vexatious to commuters. The constant delays proved vexatious to commuters. Obdurate, obdurate, meaning stubbornly refusing to change opinion. Stubbornly refusing to change opinion. The obdurate child refused to apologize. The obdurate child refused to apologize. Ineptly, ineptly, meaning in an unskilled or clumsy way. In an unskilled or clumsy way. She ineptly handled the complaint. She ineptly handled the complaint. Abstemiously, abstemiously, meaning in a self-disciplined, moderate way. In a self-disciplined, moderate way. She abstemiously avoided rich food during the holidays. She abstemiously avoided rich food during the holidays. Contumaciously, contumaciously, meaning in a defiantly disobedient way. In a defiantly disobedient way. She contumaciously ignored the order. She contumaciously ignored the order. Pertinaciously, pertinaciously, meaning with stubborn persistence. With stubborn persistence. She pertinaciously pursued her ambition. She pertinaciously pursued her ambition. Concomitantly, concomitantly, meaning at the same time as something else. At the same time as something else. Costs rose concomitantly with demand. Costs rose concomitantly with demand. Unequivocally, unequivocally, meaning in a completely clear and definite way. In a completely clear and definite way. He unequivocally denied any involvement in the incident. He unequivocally denied any involvement in the incident. Inadvertently, inadvertently, meaning without intending to. Without intending to. I inadvertently deleted the most important file. I inadvertently deleted the most important file. Ostensibly, ostensibly, meaning apparently, but possibly not truly. Apparently, but possibly not truly. He was ostensibly working late, but actually meeting friends. He was ostensibly working late, but actually meeting friends. Intrinsically, intrinsically, meaning in a natural or essential way. In a natural or essential way. Motivation is intrinsically linked to success. Motivation is intrinsically linked to success. Meticulously, meticulously, meaning with extreme care and attention to detail. With extreme care and attention to detail. She meticulously planned every stage of her business launch. She meticulously planned every stage of her business launch. Exceedingly, exceedingly, meaning extremely, very, extremely, very. The task was exceedingly difficult for beginners. The task was exceedingly difficult for beginners. Vehemently, vehemently, meaning with strong emotion or force, with strong emotion or force. She vehemently opposed the unfair policy. She vehemently opposed the unfair policy. Perpetually, perpetually, meaning continuously, without stopping. Continuously, without stopping. He feels perpetually exhausted from overworking. He feels perpetually exhausted from overworking. Conscientiously, conscientiously, meaning with strong responsibility and care. With strong responsibility and care. She conscientiously followed every safety rule. She conscientiously followed every safety rule. Reluctantly, reluctantly, meaning unwillingly, with hesitation. Unwillingly, with hesitation. He reluctantly accepted the job offer. He reluctantly accepted the job offer. Indiscriminately, indiscriminately, meaning with careful choice. With careful choice. The virus spread indiscriminately across the network. The virus spread indiscriminately across the network. Tentatively, tentatively, meaning with uncertainty or hesitation. With uncertainty or hesitation. He tentatively suggested a new approach. He tentatively suggested a new approach. Unilaterally, unilaterally, meaning by one side only. By one side only. The manager unilaterally changed the schedule. The manager unilaterally changed the schedule. Profoundly, profoundly, meaning deeply, strongly, deeply, strongly. She was profoundly affected by the experience. She was profoundly affected by the experience. Incessantly, incessantly, meaning without stopping, without stopping. The phone rang incessantly all afternoon. The phone rang incessantly all afternoon. Judiciously, judiciously, meaning with good judgment. With good judgment. He judiciously invested his savings. He judiciously invested his savings. Arbitrarily, arbitrarily, meaning randomly, without reason. Randomly, without reason. The rules were arbitrarily enforced. The rules were arbitrarily enforced. Implicitly, implicitly, meaning without being directly stated. Without being directly stated. She implicitly trusted her colleague. She implicitly trusted her colleague. Disproportionately, disproportionately, meaning to an unequal degree. To an unequal degree. Small businesses were disproportionately affected. Small businesses were disproportionately affected. Irrevocably, irrevocably, meaning in a way that cannot be changed. In a way that cannot be changed. His decision irrevocably altered his career. His decision irrevocably altered his career. Overtly. Overtly, meaning openly and clearly. Openly and clearly. He overtly criticised the proposal. He overtly criticised the proposal. Scrupulously. Scrupulously, meaning very carefully and honestly. Very carefully and honestly. She scrupulously checked every document. She scrupulously checked every document. Emphatically. Emphatically, meaning with strong emphasis. With strong emphasis. He emphatically denied the accusation. He emphatically denied the accusation. Indefatigably. Indefatigably, meaning without getting tired. Without getting tired. She worked indefatigably all night. She worked indefatigably all night. Obliquely. Obliquely, meaning indirectly. Indirectly. He obliquely referred to the problem. He obliquely referred to the problem. Perfunctorily. Perfunctorily, meaning quickly and without interest. Quickly and without interest. He perfunctorily completed the task. He perfunctorily completed the task. Unremittingly. Unremittingly, meaning without stopping or weakening. Without stopping or weakening. The rain fell unremittingly all night. The rain fell unremittingly all night. Assiduously. Assiduously, meaning with constant effort and care. With constant effort and care. She assiduously worked on her pronunciation every evening. She assiduously worked on her pronunciation every evening. Fastidiously. Fastidiously, meaning with extreme attention to detail. With extreme attention to detail. He fastidiously edited every line of the script. He fastidiously edited every line of the script. Inexorably. Inexorably, meaning in a way that cannot be stopped. In a way that cannot be stopped. Technology is inexorably changing education. Technology is inexorably changing education. Unceremoniously. Unceremoniously, meaning suddenly and without politeness. Suddenly and without politeness. He was unceremoniously removed from the meeting. He was unceremoniously removed from the meeting. Obstinately. Obstinately, meaning in a stubborn way. In a stubborn way. He obstinately refused to change his plan. He obstinately refused to change his plan. Vicariously. Vicariously, meaning through another person's experience. Through another person's experience. He lived vicariously through travel videos. He lived vicariously through travel videos. Unreservedly. Unreservedly, meaning completely and without hesitation. Completely and without hesitation. She unreservedly accepted the challenge. She unreservedly accepted the challenge. Egregiously. Egregiously, meaning in an extremely bad or shocking way. In an extremely bad or shocking way. The company egregiously violated safety rules. The company egregiously violated safety rules. Magnanimously. Magnanimously, meaning in a very generous and forgiving way. In a very generous and forgiving way. She magnanimously forgave his mistake. She magnanimously forgave his mistake. Belligerently. Belligerently, meaning in a hostile or aggressive way. In a hostile or aggressive way. He responded belligerently to simple questions. He responded belligerently to simple questions. Doggedly. Doggedly, meaning with stubborn determination. With stubborn determination. He doggedly pursued his career goals. He doggedly pursued his career goals. Surreptitiously. Surreptitiously, meaning secretly and discreetly. Secretly and discreetly. She surreptitiously checked her phone. She surreptitiously checked her phone. Viscerally. Viscerally, meaning with strong emotional reaction. With strong emotional reaction. He viscerally disliked dishonesty. He viscerally disliked dishonesty. Audaciously. Audaciously, meaning in a bold and daring way. In a bold and daring way. She audaciously challenged the manager. She audaciously challenged the manager. Obsequiously. Obsequiously, meaning in an overly obedient, flattering way. In an overly obedient, flattering way. He obsequiously agreed with his boss. He obsequiously agreed with his boss. Subversively. Subversively, meaning in a way that secretly undermines authority. In a way that secretly undermines authority. He subversively challenged the company's culture. He subversively challenged the company's culture. Punctiliously. Punctiliously, meaning with extreme attention to rules. With extreme attention to rules. He punctiliously followed protocol. He punctiliously followed protocol. Vociferously. Vociferously, meaning in a loud, forceful way. In a loud, forceful way. She vociferously opposed the proposal. She vociferously opposed the proposal.